Whoa, quite another opportunity to review the OPPO Reno 10 5G. I've had this device for about 6 to 8 weeks now. I really love it. One, I'll start with just the design of the device itself. Then we'll go to other segments. But I feel like the time that I've had with this phone gives me quite, an opportunity to be very authentic and very honest with my review of the device because I'll be telling you about what my experience really is and whether I am recommending it for your purchase or not. Yeah, will depend on actually my personal experiences with the device. For me, first, the thing I love about this phone is basically its premium look. Man, you flash this phone from your pocket anywhere, very often you get people asking me, which device is that? What phone is that? What make is that? And look at the back of the phone, man, itself. I mean, this is what people get to see a lot when you're using the device, and it has this nice matte finish at the back. And if I tilt it, in the direction of the sun, you get to see that glow. We call that the oppo glow. And then at the back here you see very premium design, the way the oppo logo has been touched nicely at the bottom left side of the device. And there the camera rack right here at the top left side of the back of the device looks really premium with the main camera on up there on top. And then we have your depth camera and your macro camera there. The flash very neatly tucked there in the middle. I just love how they play around with the design work and trying to improve or make each device different with how they do some of these placements. I think my most the thing I love most about the design of this phone is the curvy edges. Yeah, it's really curvy, very easy and firm to hold on the hand. You don't run a risk of dropping it down. But even further away from them, it's very light. Yeah, it weighs only about 165 grams. I think if I'm not wrong. And some a bit more about the display. I mean the design. At the bottom there, you've seen they've done away with the um, earphone jack. So you have your USB-C connection there, which is both for charging and for data transfer. You have your SIM tray there on the back, on the bottom left side of the screen, the bottom right of the bottom left side of the device. On the bottom right side there, you have your speakers. The secondary speakers here at the top, which means when you're playing when you're playing music, when you're watching a movie on Netflix or just enjoying gaming, you get this very nice stereo sound from this device. That's really really good. So as you've noticed, they've gone away with the 33 35 rather millimeter jack port. So this phone, your audio connection, if you're not using the inbuilt audio, you'll be doing that using the Oppo earbuds, which you can purchase separately. So what else have I not talked about? Your controls and buttons are, on the right side of the device. There's a volume up, volume down button, and of course there is the power button. There's the power button right here on this side of the device. Well, let's check in what else. Let's continue checking what else or what other amazing features this device has. So let me quickly take you through the main features of this device. So what do we have here? One, this device runs on Color OS 13.1, which is best of Android 13. Yeah, so that's the main operating system. Color OS 13.1. All Oppo devices have their customized OS, which are based on Android. So this is Color OS 13, based on Android 13. It's called the Oppo Reno 10 5G. The storage on this phone, we have 256, I'm hoping 256 GB of internal storage memory. I mean, that's the size of you. That's very decent for a laptop. Yeah. When it comes to the RAM, we have 8 GB of RAM, but the 8 GB of RAM is expandable up to 12 GB of RAM with 4 additional GB of virtual memory, which it picks off your unused storage memory. So if you're working on, or if you doing some activity on your device that eats into your RAM, and this could be some heavy activity, maybe some you're doing some internet gaming, very heavy internet gaming, not Roblox, not your ordinary things. Then you get to require that additional memory, and it can borrow up to four additional 4 GB from RAM, from the internal storage. It runs on MediaTek Dimensity 7050, which means this is a 5G device. The size of the screen is 6.7 inches. The battery pack in this phone, this device, which is an improvement over its predecessor, the OPPO Reno 8T 5G, is actually 5,000 mAh. And I'll speak a little bit more about that battery in a short while. But that's just generally what you need to know about this device. And of course, I forgot to mention about the cameras because wow, what we love cameras on this phone. So what do we get from this camera? At the rear side, so here you have your 64 megapixel camera, which is the main camera on this device. Then you have a 32 megapixel wide angle camera. Then you have an 8 megapixel macro camera. You remember on the OPPO Reno 8T 5G, we had a 108 megapixel, main camera setup. Which, if you ask me, I feel like that particular camera was is quite better than this one. But not like this one is really really bad. It gives you quite amazing shots, and I just want to show you like what I've been able to do with this phone. Like I love traveling, and every time when I get on the road, I'm always doing something on. I'm always taking photos, freezing memories with this device. For instance, I think my most recent activity was running the Nairobi Marathon, the Nairobi Stanchart Marathon, and I was able to just take very amazing photos of my exploits on the track or on the road, and it was quite an interesting experience. And also sometimes when I'm traveling with family, goofing around, freezing those moments, quite something that sometimes really is sentimental to me, or even when I'm just working here in my home studio and I just want to, freeze, just remind myself, or sometimes even just show off what I get to do at my home studio. So, take a nice selfie there in the studio and just post it on my WhatsApp status. And yeah, sometimes getting to freeze those important events, celebrations that you're having with family. I recently also had an opportunity to travel out of the country to Harare in Zimbabwe, and the thing about being in the southern part of the country, of the continent rather, during this time of the year is the jacaranda, and we call it the jacaranda propaganda. And right now, as it gets into autumn, they're really flowering and stuff. And look, man, I managed to get some quite beautiful shots of the jacarandas, and blossoming or blooming. Is it called blooming? Yeah, jacarandas blooming. And so I think the camera is really, really nice. So let's just get into the camera itself and see what some of the features it has. One of my favorite features in this device is the night photo feature. And even in very low low lights at night, you can take very very awesome shots of whatever it is that you're trying to do. And let me just show you how I did that in practice. So I want to show you a photo I took at around 3 a.m. At night in very low light conditions, but you won't tell. This was my cousin's birthday. We got to our house at around 3 a.m. in the night, but look, you wouldn't tell that that photo was taken at 3 a.m. in the night. You can think I'm just saying that for the sake, but let's try and see. Actually, it's there. If you look at the photo information, I don't know if the camera can zoom this much. It says this photo was taken on October 21st at 3:04 a.m. So that just tells you how powerful the night camera or the night capture feature on this device is. And so we also have video, we have photo, portrait. Again, the signature thing about this device is its ability to take the most awesome portrait photos using this setting. Whether you're taking those selfies or you're taking photos of other people, quite nice. But when you come here into more, what I love about this device is two things: the Pro mode or the extra HD mode. For the Pro mode, you need to have some basic understanding about how photography works, so that you can play around with the shutter speed and also the amount of light that gets into the device. This basically turns your device from being just a camera phone into a professional device, a professional photography device with the same um, almost similar specifications as your single lens reflex cameras that you have out there. But when you don't want to use that manual mode, like you're not very familiar with how to juggle around with those numbers of shutter speed and how and aperture size and all and whatnot, you just need to come and select the extra HD versions. And for all the photos that you take on the extra HD version, you get. So look at how my view on this other hand with when it's on extra HD mode. And when I take when I take this photo, it gives me this photo in very high resolution. Like if I was to go out and print this, one, the size of the image here is something to do with around 12 to 15 MBs. So that size in itself just shows you like the quality of the photo that you'll be getting from that when you use the extra HD feature. So that's it about what I love about this phone, the basics, but also specifically photography, because photography is one of the main features of this particular device. But you won't need all that with our battery. So the next, I'm going to be telling you about the battery on this device and why it's special. So one of the things that Oppo has really done for me, which is great on this device, is the battery. The battery on this device is 5,000 mAh, which is quite like some 200 mAh improvement over the battery that we had on the Oppo Reno 8 T 5G. That one had 4,800 mAh battery. And it's not just that. This device comes with a 67-watt SuperVOOC charger. What that charger does it gives this device fast charging capabilities. Yeah, and from 0 to 47 minutes you get this phone full. If the phone was 0%, your battery was at 0%, it died, you plug it in, 47 minutes, you get your device at 100%. But let's say like you're running out of battery, but you're in the middle of doing other things and you don't have, all that time to charge your phone to full. Maybe you just need a boost. A 30 minutes boost on this device gives you up to 70% of battery life. And one of the most amazing thing about this device is that of late, Hope has been bringing this new technology called the battery health engine. The battery health engine gives this phone more life. For instance, you can charge this phone like charging and discharging cycles up to 1,600 times, and it will still be performing quite well. So which is way above what the standard charging and discharging cycles that we have for devices. But also another feature that I love about this phone is optimized charging. So you can say when it charges that fast, if it charges from in 47 minutes and it full. So what happens when I plug it in um, at night to charge? Will it overheat and stuff like that? So what this phone has something called optimized charging, which usually comes on, but you can turn it off. What optimized charging does to you is that it allows the device to understand your usage habits. So if you usually use your phone, between 6 a.m. in the morning heavily and 10 a.m. And 10 p.m. at night heavily. That's why your heavy usage usually is every any time you charge it during those times, it will charge really fast. But when you charge it during times outside that, because with time it gets to learn your usage habits, it reduces its speed of charging. So meaning it allows it to get to fill up with your own rhythm. Yeah. So by the time you wake up in the morning, you'll find it full, but it doesn't mean that it filled up using, I mean, in 47 minutes. That's what the the optimized charging feature does to it. And I think the most interesting thing is that the battery health engine is actually a very interesting feature that adds more life to this battery, and it's already, a winner in several global awards from my daily usage of this device, and I consider myself a very heavy user. Based on the work that I do, traveling, taking photos. I usually charge my phone once. I plug it in at around 10:30 p.m. at night, and I'll get it up in the morning. I'll get it off the charger in the morning when it's full. But I'll use it the whole day until my next charging cycle. And by the time that I'm going to charge my phone, most of the time it's at about 30 or between 20 and 30% of battery life, which means I never really run out of battery. And unlike the Oppo Reno 8T, which packed so much performance, but the battery was not as impressive. I usually had to carry my charger a lot with me, or sometimes I also had to carry, if not the charger, then I'll carry the cable. I never have to carry my charger or my cable with me when I'm using this device, when I'm going to work, or even when I'm traveling. My charger is in the bag, and I'll only use it at night when I need to. So, as a wrap up, I think it's also important to tell you a bit about the Oppo Reno HT 5G Pro, which, in terms of the battery, it has almost similar capacities, but it has a 6,000, rather a 4,600 mAh dual cell battery, and you can charge it from 1% to an impressive 48% in about 10 minutes, and then you can achieve a full charge with it in just a mere 28 minutes. um I think that's basically it, but now let's go to this phone's display. And as you can see, you see the fluid nature in terms of in the way to which I'm able to scroll screens, whether it's on Facebook, and the way I'm able to move from one app to another. And even when I'm just on my home screen, I'm flipping through. It has a very fast screen refresh rate. So the maximum screen refresh rate on this particular device is 120 hertz, but you can actually, it gives you the option of selecting settings that allows you to that's more of to device. So you can see here on my screen refresh rate, I have the maximum or high. That's what I have on, because for me, I think that's what I love. I'm really used to using devices with a higher refresh rate. But the thing about using the highest refresh rate is that it eats you better battery much faster than it would with a lower or a standard refresh rate. So when you do a standard refresh rate it gives you a maximum of 60 hertz, and then also allows you to auto select. So when I auto select, what it means, like, it will adapt itself. So if you're doing tasks that do not require like a very high refresh, then it will take it down to 60, a refresh rate of 60. And then when you move to other tasks that now require a higher screen refresh rate, it will take it to the maximum, which is 120 hertz. For me, I prefer it at 120 hertz, so I'll leave it there. This display, again, like I said, it's curved, it's nice, it's very friendly to the eye. But you can also, again, it allows you to adjust your settings for brightness. You can select your screen to be on the dark mode if that's your cup of tea. I love it on the light mode. For eye comfort, if you're not really friendly with the white, or the more clearer, the more whitish display, then you can select eye comfort, and it gives it sort of a turn there that helps you, gives you protect your eyes, but also gives you comfort. But even on this on this other mode, it's still really comfortable on the eye. You can use it for a long time, whether you're watching a video on Netflix, or you engaging in gaming that and or you engaging in gaming, and it's still really comfortable on your eyes. In terms of performance, like I said, this phone or this particular device runs um, MediaTek Dimensity 7050, which allows it to do quite a lot of processing and heavy works. But also, this is what powers its 5G connection capabilities. But talking about 5G, I want to show you what this particular device does. So let me just switch off from my Wi-Fi and so that it connects. So one, I'm on a 4G network, and this is Airtel 4G, and I just want to give it like a small try on Airtel 4G and Safaricom 5G. Because where I am, there's no Airtel 5G yet. But you see, the speeds that you get out of here are pretty decent. This is on 4G. You can see there, I saw it hit as high as 60 something. Right now, 49. We're at 50, 52, 53 MPs per second. Let's see where it stabilizes. It's gone there. It's there. It's stabilized at a download speeds of 54.9 MBs per second. And now let's try and see what we can do with this when it's on the 5G mode on Safaricom. So what I want to do now is basically I want to go to my settings, and I want to select my my to make the phone accept 5G network. So you can see it's already selected on 5G on my second SIM, which is where I have my Safaricom on. And then let's see what speeds I have on 5G. I have about just 1 GB of data, of Safaricom data on this phone currently, because Safaricom is not my main network. But let's just see what we get on Safaricom 5G, the kind of speeds that we get. So there we going. That's 226, 232 Mbps, 237, 230. Yeah. So 232 Mbps just tells you also, like, when you say this phone is a 5G device, it's a really 5G device. So now in terms of your usage, just imagine what you do with 232 megabytes per second of data. Yeah. So that's what you get on this device on 5G. So from my usage, I think as I wrap up this video, from my usage of this device, I'll definitely recommend it. It's one of the very pocket friendly devices that are there if you look at it from a cost perspective versus performance that you have. This particular device goes for, am I right? It goes for 56,999 from all you OPPO branded shops across the country. But you can also get it, on various e-commerce platforms. And I really recommend for you to get this device. I mean, it gives you value for money, and like I said, it's a very sleek device. It makes you stand out. It fits into your style. It comes it comes in two particular variances. If I'm not wrong, and you know, it's quite a good addition to your lifestyle. So I'll keep this. It's currently what I'm using as my main device. And like you see, both my Safaricom and Airtel SIM cards are there. I'm running quite a lot of apps here, but it's still performing, the same way when I first got this device about 6 to 8 weeks ago. So I think it's quite a very good bargain for that price. Most devices that have these same capabilities, you won't find them, retailing for something that's downwards of 90 or so thousand shillings. So yeah, I think this is a yay. So get out there, go to your nearest Oppo branded outlet, or at your favorite e-commerce platform, and get yourself an Oppo Reno 10 5G device. Or rather, if you have a bit more money, you can get yourself the Oppo Reno 10 5G Pro. For me, I think this is quite a catch. That's it until our next review.